Hey, Spencer with Vintco here. We are here today with a really cool, some would say, the start of real motocross bikes, correct?
Yep, first Japanese two-stroke that hit the market just like firestorm, took over the European market like crazy. It was super fast.
And how many of these did they sell?
You know, I think they sold a lot. I mean, there's probably tens of thousands of these sold, but it was every kid's dream from 12 years old to 16 want one of these damn things, and they run so good. It's just unbelievable how fast they were for their time.
Yep. So Honda Elsinore 125, and it's M or
M?
125M.
1974.
And I assume the M stood for motocross.
Probably,
right? Something like that.
Yeah,
because before that, it was just like, it was kind of like, oh, well, dirt bikes are dirt bikes. And, you know, they have those Yamahas that are like in between.
Their enduro bikes turned into old, they took all the lights off.
Took the lights off, raced them, right.
Well,
but this is our first motocross bike.
Yes, this is the true one.
Cool. And you redid this thing from the ground up. So talk us through kind of what you did.
Well, we were up to the Boise Interam, and 2 years ago, and we ran into our friends up there and said, hey, are you anybody interested in a 74 Honda? And I said, oh yeah, hell yeah, I'm in. And so I got the number from him. It was a guy in Ogden, Utah, and I called him. He was original owner of it. And he sold it to me for a really good price. And I went and got it, and this is a perfect definition of a barn find.
Yeah.
It had a rolling door that was stuck. It took us 5 minutes to get the rolling door open, and pitch black inside, and it was leaning up against the stall inside there. I've got some pictures I'll show you.
Sweet,
we can show
put those out here on the screen.
Yeah, and from there we took it all the way down, rebuilt everything in it all the way through, Cerakoted the cases like normal. We automotive painted the frame. Haydon painted all the silver and the tank. We had to make all the decal, plastic decals to show where this green goes exactly, where that black stripe goes exactly, where the Honda is positioned exactly. So this is exact replica of what we took off of it.
Just beautiful. Right?
Yeah. And the bars are the only thing that's not OEM that I can think of on this thing. Other than that, pretty much everything on it's original. Had to rebuild some shock shafts, put new shock shafts in, had to make some new bushings for it, which we did that. My son 3D printed the air intake on this.
Nice.
Right here. That's out of a TPU rubber.
Okay.
So
wow,
it's a lot of the carb Cerakoted as well, clear. The rims had 6 cracks in the front, 5 and 4 in the rear. Haydon welded them up. Spent days and days and days sanding them and cleaning them up. And spokes are all original spokes, zinc coated.
Very nice.
But everything we do right in house.
While we say barn find, this thing was ridden quite a bit.
Yes, it was. He rode it a lot. He had a weird, called the X-Deucer muffler on it.
Okay.
Round one. Went right there. I've got it restored, and I'll show you that too.
Okay.
Kind of funny on it, but I could never find a silencer, a stock silencer for it, so that's why I built that one.
We have then is that one of the main things? Obviously, you did a lot of custom stuff, but the silencer, nobody makes one.
No
one.
No, I mean, I think there's some guys now reproducing them, just barely, like as of the last month or so.
Okay.
But they're like $700.
A lot of money for something that I imagine this didn't take that much, especially with your expertise, right? So.
Yeah, it took a day or so to machine all this out in a mill and a lathe and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's repackable now. The stock ones weren't. So it's actually performance enhancing of the bike.
And you made, the repackableness. It's like before.
It was just a canister.
It's
ratty sounding,
Yeah, this thing sounds loud. And you guys will hear that, but I mean, it's obviously really cool.
Yeah.
And then what is your favorite thing on the bike in the sense of, you're like, when somebody comes over and they're looking at stuff, what's the one thing you want to show them? Like, hey, check this out.
I think it's the paint scheme of it.
It looks so good.
You know, just the way we had to paint it and everything like that. Put it all the paint took us probably the most time of everything. I mean, I did rebuild the crank, everything on this whole thing.
Yes.
Everything, new chain and sprockets. But this was the most tedious and time-consuming and scary part to do it, because we're not painters.
Yeah.
But we learned to become painters.
You get good at it, right?
Yes, yeah.
And then how long did this take, in the sense of from when you started it and from when you then were like, okay, we're done?
We got this probably, was it in August or September? And then we finished it about a month ago. So it was 6-7 months of lots of logistics to find all the pieces and parts for it. I mean, just the kickstand alone is a nightmare to find.
Everything, I imagine, is hard on these bikes to get sourced and to find. And considering the importance and the significance of this bike, it's cool to see restored ones. And while you may not race this bike, which is totally fine, but also you do ride it.
Yeah.
Like, it runs. So a lot of times we see guys who...
You'll be riding it shortly.
Exactly. I'll have a GoPro lap on, or a lap, but riding around the parking lot. of me on this thing, and it's like, dudes will sometimes restore these, and they won't ever even put oil in the engine. And it's, for us, we like to make sure that, if you don't even put oil in the engine, how you know that the gaskets
We love
are
to
good,
start
right?
and run them and rip them around
Yes.
and have fun. We can always wash them and clean them, and then we
Yes.
scratch them, we fix them. We can make them look like new again.
It's all part of it.
Yeah, it's all part of it.
So really cool bike. Is there anything else? I mean, realistically, how much money do you think this thing is worth now?
We've had people offer us tens of thousands of dollars, but it's not about the money.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's about the love. Me and my son
Yes.
love to do this. It's something we like to do together, and I enjoy it. He enjoys it. So it's just like my wife is getting fed up, but that's part of life living,
Yeah.
You enjoy yourself doing this kind of stuff,
Yeah.
but she says she gets fed up. She enjoys it too, but
Yeah.
she'd like her garage back.
Yeah, you guys are expanding rapidly. So yeah, if somebody, I know that you guys took a lot of 3D scans on this bike.
Yeah.
If somebody's trying to restore this for themselves, who could they reach out to get maybe some scans or some files to be able to do that?
Haydon would be the one to get a hold of on that stuff, and then we'll put his email address or something
we'll
on
throw
here
that on
too.
here.
And he does all the high tech stuff. I just do the motor work and
Yeah,
stuff.
you're on the grunt work and he's on the computer, right?
Yeah,
Cool.
and he does all. He's the picky one. Everything has to be perfect. If there's one blem in the paint, he'll sand it back down and redo it again.
Just redo it. That's awesome.
Yeah, so he's OCD.
Awesome. And then, what's your next project coming up? I mean, we've seen a couple of your builds now.
Let's see. What do we want to do next? We want to find a 81 YZ250.
Okay.
That's what we'd like to do just for vintage racing purposes. Yeah. And I think we're going to do a YZ, like a 96, maybe a 94 long rod. Maybe make a long rod model.
Yeah.
Because I've done those, quite a few of those. And just, it kind of comes down to what kind of good deals we can find. We like them blowing up in crates and parts and pieces.
What lands in your lap and you're like, we can do this.
Yeah, that's
good.
right.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so big thanks to Arnie, son Haydon, and Cooper Off-Road Performance, right?
Yep, Coops Off-Road Performance.
Coops Off-Road Performance. So
it's on Facebook that way.
Yeah, and go get your bike running. If you got a vintage bike that's sitting in the barn, you can do this. It'll take maybe more than 9 months or so, but most dudes can do this if they take their time and get the right parts. And so it's really satisfying when you have a cool bike like this, and everybody out here, like, this is the most popular bike. It's the coolest bike out here by far. So we'll see you next time. See you guys.
Thanks.